Again, I don't do that now.
Okay.
I have learned my
fine.
lesson. So the man on Kahlan's horse apologizes to her for only killing 17 men when he promised himself he was going to kill 20. And Kahlan's like, you're fine, okay? You should be proud. You were a fucking hero, and it's going to be fine. Just hold your wound closed, please.
Yeah. It's rough because you know he's not in good shape and Kahlan can't do anything about it. She doesn't have clothes. She would be willing to just... I mean, it made it sound like she would be willing to lose a piece of clothing had she been in a normal situation to wrap this guy's wound so he wouldn't die. She would have suffered the embarrassment to save his life. I don't know what kind of a situation that would be, but like... She didn't have clothing, so it wasn't an option. Look, maybe it's just a sleeve off of something, but...
Okay, my only question is why his clothes don't matter.
I hadn't considered that. No, he's naked too.
It doesn't say he's naked.
He's naked. He's one of the guys. He's on foot. So he's a swordsman.
I wasn't sure if he was a swordsman or a sentry.
I think he is.
Maybe he is a naked swordsman.
I think that's why the weirdness being on the horse with Kahlan.
Okay, but...
Because he's also naked.
Okay. I'm just... there's a horse. Use the horse's hair. Whatever. We're running anyways. We don't have time. Okay? We gotta get to the camp.
They do have to get to the camp because they don't have time. But we have time. And you know what we have time for?
Oh, I think it's my favorite part.
It's time for the beer break.
Yay!
Yes! All right, so today we are drinking Oktoberfest because the day you hear this, I believe it's going to be October 28th, just a few days before Halloween. And we don't really have a Halloween theme for the episode, but we do have Oktoberfest beer.
Ooh.
And I've had a couple of these Oktoberfest type beers, and some of them are really, really good. Others, it was just kind of like, that's an interesting flavor. I don't know why you put those together. This is not one of those beers, though. This is one of the delicious ones. And this, again, is from Earth and Ales in Traverse City. Fantastic place. I can tell you that this is 6%. It was canned on the 15th of October.
Mm-hmm.
So it is fresh.
I think maybe it's probably better with, what do they eat at Oktoberfest? Like, sauerkraut and kielbasa? Is that, or is it sausage? Is it just sausage?
I think several different kinds.
Bratwurst.
And bratwurst, yeah. Pretzels. Oh, so many pretzels.
Ooh, pretzels.
Peanut butter. Stuffed pretzels.
What?
Oh. Let me show you some stuff, honey. You're going to be happy that you asked that question. Let me try this beer. Here, yeah.
Yep, I like it. I think it would taste great with food.
Well, you heard it here, folks. That hot take from Jade.
Sorry, I spilled.
But it is good.
It is.
It was like so good, she was shocked into spilling. Just a little. Well, we're going to get one more of these, and we'll be back right after this. And we're back. So, when Prin, Toss, and Ryan see Kahlan, they are relieved. Not surprisingly. I mean, really, you just sent a whole group of people out to war, knowing that a good chunk of them aren't coming back.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about earlier, the boss went kind of with everybody and yet kind of out on her own with no extra protection.
Yeah.
So the chances aren't actually very good that she's coming back, which I think would have prompted the conversation we said should have happened earlier.
Yeah.
Hey, why doesn't at least one person just go with you?
Stick to her ass. She should not be allowed to do any of the things she did. Like,
I'm surprised that they could have even gotten Chandlin to not go regardless of what they said, because you'd have been like, no, it's my ass. If she dies, my life is also ruined.
Do you think there was a moment when everybody got back to camp when they all went, well, Where is she? Well, I thought you were with her.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to be
The
with
moment of realization when they're like, oh, guys, I think that was a bad idea.
Shit.
Oh, no.
Did we just get the mother confessor killed and, like, we didn't even try to stop it?
Let's blame Carl.
We were like, just go full force into the battle and then go back by yourself to save some of the men and sacrifice yourself to save the men. That'll be fine.
So they pull the man that was on the horse with her down, and Prin tosses her mantle because she's tired of being looked at. She's been naked and around a bunch of swinging dicks, and she's tired of the attention.
But again, I think I personally wouldn't give a shit about the nudity right now. I would want it because it's fucking freezing. Because I feel like the amount of people who looked at her, like seriously looked at her in a sexual manner in the last little chunk of time were very few compared to the ones that were like,
very fucked up people.
Yeah. Like...
No, I'm with you. I wouldn't have liked to be a naked swordsman, all right? That does not sound like something I want to do.
I think that's your new nickname.
The Naked Swordsman. But I think that battle would have been scary enough, and it's winter. There is snow on the ground. Like you said, bare feet in the snow is not fucking good. I don't think at that point even I would be self-conscious. Because of the situation, because of everything going on, you'd be like, all right, my dick is out. So yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, you're like in survival mode at that point.
Even if they were staring at her. I feel like at that point, you don't give a shit.
Well,
you're like, whatever.
Like, I'm sure Kahlan doesn't want any more people staring at her. And that's totally understandable. I just don't think that would have been like, no, I'm not getting up. So you do this. I will jump off this horse and run if I can get that blanket just 3 seconds sooner.
Yeah, no, that's all I'm saying. I just feel like at this point, if I were her, I would be like, you want to see my tits? Cool. I'm going to get warm and then drink some fucking tea, okay? Go jerk off in your tent. I don't care.
Hey, what you do on your off time is up to you.
Exactly. And also, you know, these boys haven't seen that in a while, so honestly, I wouldn't begrudge these boys anyways.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, you know, Kahlan doesn't have to be happy about them staring.
No, you don't.
I just don't think that would be priority number one. That's all.
I totally agree. So Kahlan notices that the man that was pulled off her horse is laying on the ground, and she's like, what the fuck is this? And they're like, hey, he's dead, okay? And she gets mad at first. But then she's like, he killed 17 people, guys. And she's really upset.
I don't know why this was a real Fight Club moment for me, where they're all standing outside. His name was Robert Paulson. His name was Robert Paulson. Like, they didn't repeat he killed 17 people, but it's like, is that the most important thing? Or is it that your buddy is dead? Not even your buddy. It was a random guy who needed help.
Yeah, she never even got his name.
No, we never got a name. But they're like, he killed 17, so he was a good person. Who was a good person?
Ted? I don't know. It might have been Ted. Might have been Fred.
And I mean, granted, they're a part of an army, and the army has its priority. So, you know, maybe it didn't matter what his name was. Kahlan was willing to help. That was important. And that dude obviously fought hard as hell and killed 17 people. Which, if we did the math to begin with, we know that this army is 10 times the Wolf Army's size. So he did his share, plus some.
Yeah, and I think that Kahlan actually, after a moment, realizes something kind of to that effect, that this isn't just a guy who cut down 17 people. All of these guys are people who just went through all of this together. So, like, he doesn't deserve praise just because he killed the 17 on his own. They all deserve praise because they just went through this crazy shit.
Right. They all went through it together. They're all fucking heroes. But I do still think that Peter and Bryn are like heroes.
Yeah.
They're the guys who get the capes. That's how it works.
I think Kahlan called them Marvels, which is kind of like Avengers. So
it was snuck in there and we didn't even notice it. They are superheroes.
Yeah, they are. So Ryan tells Kahlan that he's happy that the mud dudes are on their side because they're fucking badass. Speaking of badasses. And especially Prin with the Troga. They're like little fucking ninjas bringing them those uniforms. They would go off and they would fucking be on the other side of the woods, and then they would be back with a fucking uniform, and they never heard anything.
What size are you? Okay, I'll be right back. 5 minutes later, and he's got a uniform. Dude, what did you do?
It's all folded neatly.
Never mind. I had a chance to wash it. Okay, next, what size are you? Holy fuck.
Maybe they did actually sew the white into these.
He had time on his way back while sneaking through the woods with a newly minted uniform.
That's how badass they are.
Post hiding a dead body.
Kahlan, again, makes a weird... Kahlan is almost the aggressor of a lot of these, like, sexual comments and thoughts during this chapter. It's kind of weird. Because she's like, you look handsome in your uniform, which nobody asked. Why are you saying this right now?
Yeah. Thanks. Cool. Are you gonna die?
Didn't you tell me that you were, like, shacked up with some dude?
Super taken?
Also, like, this won't work because you would totally confess me and shit, but thanks? Cool.
Yeah, wait, didn't you literally say that your husband would be uber opposed to this and probably kill anybody involved with the planning of this? And then you're gonna tell me I'm handsome, half naked in an armor? With a sword?
How offended would you be if I ran my finger down your chest and said, you look really fucking hot without your clothes? Yeah, same thing. Even though I have the clothes on. It's similar. You just hit on me. Inappropriate workplace environment. Thank you, Kahlan.
You're not my supervisor! Except you are! Damn it! Who do I complain to?
Where's HR? Shit, we used that tent for the whitewash.
HR's the horse. Just here's an ale, talk to the horse. You'll be fine.
So, the men dressed as the Order did everything they intended to do with fewer losses than the naked dudes. Because they barely had to fight, and also, they had fucking armor on. So, I feel like that's pretty fucking expected. The swordsmen with Kahlan lost about 400 men of the 1,000 that they had.
That is not good. That's like that's almost. Literally a 40% death rate. It's terrible odds. Okay, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that it really limits the amount of time they can spend harrying the Imperial Order. If you're losing 400 dudes a night and you're starting with 5,000, at most, you can keep this up for a week and a half, and then you have to go home. Or just go balls to the wall and, make your one last stand.
And, actually, the first night was their best night. There's no fucking way that your subsequent attacks are going to go that well. Because now they know.
It's like that bull in the movie Wild Hogs, where they have to just slap the bull's ass, and it's like you run back to the fence, and it's an adrenaline rush and makes you feel alive. And then the second guy, I think it's John Travolta, he starts making his way up to the bull, and the guy's like, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does now that he's aware. And it goes about how you would imagine.
Yeah.
But this is not funny. That movie was hilarious. This would be scary as fuck.
Yes, this is less funny. Brian asks Kahlan if his men kept her safe, and she's like, I never even got close enough to see the enemy. They did great. This is obviously a lie, but one that Ryan calls out pretty fast when he's like, what about your fucking split lip and all the blood all over you? And Nick, you're white, so it's easy to see.
Yeah, okay, so we know that the blood is on her after she left, because when she left, she was all white.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, stops to just say, I was just in a battle. Yeah, there's blood on me. There are fingers and shit in my horse reins, and it's all scary, and yeah, that's where I just came from. Of course there is.
Well, she's trying to maintain that his men kept her, in a ring of safety.
So she's just trying to make him feel better and say, oh, you guys did such a good job. I was totally fine.
Yeah.
I kind of figured he knew that she was just trying to say, hey, they did a good job. Don't worry about him. But then